Morning to you, and welcome to Capital Download. Okay, Susan, feels like we've been talking about this trade deal business for weeks now. Finally, the Senate has passed the Trade Promotion Authority, and the House is about to pick it all up. But the real battle is within the Democratic Party.
That's right, Derek. Democrats are divided, and longtime allies like organized labor are making threats to their friends. I spoke with AFL CIO President Richard Trumka. He says, back this trade deal, and you may lose our support no matter who you are. You are opposing this fast-track legislation, Trade Promotion Authority, which will facilitate consideration of the big Pacific Trade Deal and other trade deals down the road. But the Senate passed it last week. The House is going to take it up. Will the House pass it?
I don't think so. I think we have the votes to stop it in the House because it's bad. It's going to cost America jobs, and it's going to lower wages for every American out there.
How many Democrats in the House do you think will vote for it?
I think 20 or less.
And it was a surprise to some that it got through the Senate. Really close vote, lots of last-minute horse trading. Why did it finally get through?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I think 13 Democrats left their base. They decided to pass something that was going to cost jobs and lower wages, and they're going to have to answer to their constituencies for that whenever they face them.
So many unions have frozen campaign contributions this year to pressure members of Congress on these votes on Trade Promotion Authority and on the Pacific Trade Pact. For those 13 Democratic senators who voted for Fast Track Authority, will there be consequences for them?
There's no question about that. The report card that we sent out, this will be a major one of the issues when we say, here's how they voted. Here's the ones that were with us, here's the ones that weren't. This group of people voted to eliminate jobs and lower wages. You make the decision, and then they'll decide.
Now, Politico had a story this morning saying that local and national labor groups have made bruising threats to Democratic members. It quoted one unnamed member of Congress as saying, I haven't seen this look in their eyes in a long time. Bruising? Has it been hardball on your part?
Look, this is an important issue. This is the livelihoods of a lot of people, and consider this. We're going to be out there every day fighting to protect our members and the American way of life, because that's what's at stake here. Our wages have been stagnant for too long. It's time to raise wages, and this agreement will lower American wages.
President Obama has really been working hard for this, and he's accused Senator Elizabeth Warren and other activists, including folks in labor, of mischaracterizing the deal and of not understanding that it's, in his words, the status quo is the worst of all worlds for American workers. What do you say to President Obama, who said pretty tough language against Senator Warren?
Well, first of all, he sets up a false argument, because it isn't between this agreement and the status quo. It can be between this agreement and one that really works for workers. That's the issue. They try to make this about all or nothing, and it isn't. If we vote down TPP, and I believe we will, they can go back and negotiate an agreement that really does work for the American worker, and then everybody wins. It's not all or nothing.
Where do you think Hillary Clinton stands on Trade Promotion Authority and the Pacific Trade Deal?
I don't know. I think she's going to have to answer that. I think she won't be able to go through a campaign without answering that, and people will take it seriously, and it will affect whether they vote for her or don't vote for her.
What would it cost Hillary Clinton if she came out with a position similar to the one she's taken in the past when it comes to these big trade deals?
It'll be tougher to mobilize working people. It'll be tougher to get them to come out excited and work, to do door knocking and leafleting and phone banking and all the things that's going to be necessary for her if she's the candidate, and we would endorse her to get elected. It'll make it far more difficult.
But I think skeptics might say, well, you're not going to support the Republicans, so maybe the cost wouldn't be so great for Hillary Clinton if you were less than enthused about the stance she took on this issue.
Well, there's another alternative as well. You could not endorse for president.
Is that conceivable?
Yeah, that's conceivable.
What would prompt you to do that?
If both candidates weren't interested in raising wages and creating jobs. If neither one had a program that we were convinced that they would fight for, not just a poll-tested slogan, but an actual agenda that they will fight for. If we're convinced that neither candidate has that, then I think we would spend our money elsewhere. probably on Senate candidates and congressional candidates and governors and state houses and things of that sort, where we'd have a much greater effect.
President Obama's administration, has Obama's presidency been good for working Americans? The president's been seriously handicapped in his ability to deliver things on the American public, because you get a determined opposition in the Republican Party that will actually hurt the country just to deny him what they would say is a victory. So they haven't done any problem solving. I think he tried on a number of occasions. I wish he would have fought for some of the things that are needed as hard as he's fighting for fast track and TPP, because I think would have had a better chance of winning, because we'd have been on the same side on a lot of those issues, and it would have been fun. Richard Trumka, thanks for joining us on Capitol Download.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Tough words from Mr. Trumka. If we don't like you, we won't endorse anybody. Problem is, that could happen, and other people may not care.
Well, that would be a big surprise if they didn't endorse, but the threat about withholding contributions and enthusiasm, that's more real.
In the meantime, no shortage of candidates to pick from this week.
Coming up next in our roundtable, we'll talk about who's joined the race.
And then later on in the show, we talk about whether those candidates will be able to raise the money they need to compete.